Is the world of K-pop now facing the biggest scandal in history? The name of Jungkook, one of the global stars and BTS members known for always being cheerful in front of the camera, suddenly became a hot spot after reports of ill treatment he received from an individual surfaced. However, what shocked the world was the fact that the perpetrator of the ill treatment was allegedly the son of a high-ranking South Korean military official. How did this happen? And why did Jungkook choose to be silent all this time? Wild speculation has sprung up since this news circulated on social media. Jungkook, who usually speaks live and greets fans with enthusiasm, suddenly disappeared from the public's radar. This silence raises a big question. Has Jungkook been under great pressure from certain parties? Or is he preparing legal steps to deal with this case? Some fans began demanding transparency, while others feared that military involvement would leave the case without justice. Even more shocking is the allegation that the person behind the ill treatment has strong political connections. According to preliminary investigation reports, the individual not only had ties to military officials, but also allegedly used his family's power to try to pressure Jungkook's agency to keep the case from surfacing. However, the question is it true that a case of this magnitude can simply be muted? When this issue was first circulated, many fans did not believe it. How could Jungkook, a star who always shows the positive side of his life, experience this kind of mistreatment? However, a reliable source in the entertainment industry confirmed that this incident is not just a rumor. Jungkook is indeed facing something very difficult, said an anonymous source who works closely with HYB Entertainment. Although the source declined to provide further details, he said that the case has become a serious concern, even involving the police. The report further stated that the alleged ill treatment received by Jungkook did not only happen once, but had lasted for several months. There was an element of verbal and emotional bullying, the source said. While there was no official statement from Jungkook himself, fans have now begun to attribute his change in behavior to the incident. Is the smile he's shown so far just a mask to cover up the pain he feels? Behind this case, great attention is now focused on the family of the offender. The perpetrator, who is said to be the son of a well-known military official, allegedly used his family's influence to avoid consequences for his actions. This is an abuse of power that cannot go unpunished, said a human rights activist who asked to remain anonymous. He added that if it is true that the perpetrator's family used political connections to protect him, then this is not only a personal issue, but also a systemic issue that reflects the inequality of power in South Korea. However, another big question is, why was Jungkook targeted? Is this just a personal matter, or is there something bigger behind it? Some theories suggest that this may be related to Jungkook's global popularity, which makes him vulnerable to various threats and jealousy from certain parties. But until now, there is no concrete evidence to support the theory that in such a situation, many expect HYB Entertainment, the agency that houses Jungkook and BTS, to immediately provide an official statement. But until this article is written, the HYB is still silent. The agency's silence sparked outrage from some fans, who felt that Jungkook was not getting enough protection. "We support Jungkook, but where is the role of the agency to protect him?" wrote a fan on Twitter, who immediately got thousands of retweets. Meanwhile, some entertainment industry observers have suggested that HYB's silence may be a strategy to avoid an escalation of the situation. This is a very sensitive case, especially if it involves the families of military officials. They may be preparing a strong legal move before making a public statement, said an analyst who has followed BTS's career for a long time, not only in South Korea. This case is also of great concern internationally. BTS fans spread all over the world began to rally support for Jungkook through the hashtag #ProtectJungkook, which became a trending topic in various countries. Even some international celebrities also gave their support through social media. Jungkook is a gentle and talented soul. No one deserves this kind of ill treatment, one of the Hollywood stars wrote on her Instagram stories. However, this international support has also put enormous pressure on the South Korean government, which is now being demanded to ensure that the case is investigated transparently. If the government allows this case to pass, then it will be a big blow to South Korea's image in the eyes of the world, said a professor of international relations from a top university in Seoul. To this day, Jungkook still chooses to remain silent. However, many fans are hoping that he will soon provide a statement to explain what really happened. "We don't care how bad the situation is. We just want to hear the truth from Jungkook himself," one fan wrote on an online forum. On the other hand, there are also those who support Jungkook's decision to remain silent, arguing that this is probably the best way for him to process what happened. Whatever happens, one thing is certain. This case has opened the eyes of many to the pressures and risks that celebrities face, even those who seem to have perfect lives like Jungkook. The world is now waiting with hope. Will justice finally side with Jungkook? And is South Korea's legal system strong enough to settle the case without the intervention of power? The answers to all these questions may not come anytime soon, but one thing is clear: Jungkook is not alone. Support from fans and the global community will continue to flow, ensuring that his voice will not be lost in silence. The involvement of the family of a military official in the case sparked widespread debate among South Korean society. The military, which has been considered an untouchable institution, is now in a whirlpool of great controversy. Many have begun to question transparency in the military system, especially when it comes to abuse of power by the families of high-ranking officials. The big question that arises is, will the South Korean government step in to ensure that justice is served? Or will this case sink in like so many other cases involving influential parties? Pressure on the government mounted after a public petition demanding a transparent investigation into the case garnered more than 1 million signatures in less than 48 hours. The petition also calls for special protection for Jungkook as a victim, given the large scale of the case that could potentially affect his mental and physical health. A well-known lawyer in Seoul, who is not directly involved in the case, gave his comments. If it is true that there was an intervention on the part of the military to protect the perpetrators, then it is a serious violation of the principle of justice. The government must ensure that no force is able to silence the voices of the victims, he stressed. However, in the midst of all this pressure, the government still seems to be careful to give official comments. Several sources said the case was being handled behind closed doors, and there was an internal debate among government officials about how to handle issues involving the military without sparking greater public outrage. On the other hand, great attention was also directed to Jungkook's mental health condition. On several occasions, Jungkook has spoken openly about the pressure he feels as a global artist. But this time, the situation he faced was much more complex and full of uncertainty. Mental health experts think Jungkook's silence could be a sign that he is experiencing great stress. When someone chooses not to speak out in a difficult situation, it can be their way of protecting themselves from deeper pain. However, this can also be a sign that he needs more support, said a well-known psychologist in Seoul. BTS fans, known as ARMY, continue to rally support for Jungkook through various means. In addition to creating viral hashtags, they also send letters of support and even donate funds to organizations that support victims of emotional violence. "We want Jungkook to know that he is not alone. We will always be behind him no matter what," one fan wrote in a viral Instagram post.